Hello, and welcome back to another Pen Talk. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for choosing this channel to explore the global wide world of pens. What you see here now are my 4 new Kaigelu 316s. I'm calling them the 2021 edition. There are 5 colors. Here's what the 5 colors look like. I'm on the fence about the 5th. The 2 new ones are the purple one and the white swirl one. They came, I bought them on AliExpress. Here's the order. Also had that interesting other pen in the order, which I've already done a review on. They came in nice cellophane sleeves. And this order was delayed because the purple one they couldn't get in the medium, which is what I wanted, so they sent me an extra fine. We'll translate the Chinese there. I haven't done this for a while. Cellophane. What an amazing sound. So we're going to explore the extra fine nib on the purple one and talk about the purple one and show you the white one because the acrylics are amazing. I love them. These are great pens. They're at an excellent price. Say no more. So feast your eyes on this resin that I haven't really seen in another pen before. So I think Kaigelu has definitely found a nice source for acrylics. All of my Kaigelus, with the exception of one, which we'll talk about a little later in the video, are very well made. Just are great writers, ergonomically well designed. Yeah, cap takes a few more turns than 2 to get off. You see that beautiful section in the similar type of acrylic. You know, they all fit in the hand well. This new version, it doesn't have anywhere near the brass and is much lighter than the first version. Just feels good. That section is the right size. Nice little flare out at the end. And a beautiful Kaigelu nib. A 2-tone nib. And who can say no to kangaroo with a baby in its pouch? The barrel spins off very easily. We see a nice upscale converter, which they've been using for a while. A nice metal section here, nice and long, holds that converter in place. There's the model number. And there's a Kaigelu script in case you forget who makes the pen. Well done. Metal band. Little silicone insert there. Fits extremely securely. All of these converters have worked extremely well for me. They don't hold a lot of ink, but sometimes you don't need a lot of ink. And I wouldn't not get a pen like this just because of a converter. I kind of had an idea how the white swirly one would look, but the purple one has surprised me. Yeah, the white one surprised me too. I'm just impressed. This is a cracked ice version. A lot of colors in there besides purple. They're all complementary. This cap comes off in half a turn, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. There's that great section that we talked about before. You know, this nib is now an extra fine because they didn't have a medium to send me, but I haven't used an extra fine Kaigelu nib, so we have an opportunity now to explore it. And maybe some of you out there might prefer an extra fine nib and say, how does that extra fine Kaigelu nib write? So we're going to take a look at that. I'll find a nice suitable purple ink to complement the pen. The threads are wonky. Now we're going to do some LED exploration of the resins. Let's see how it looks as we turn off some LED lights. There is hardly any light, but the camera has adjusted and the pens look much different. So as we bring in the LED light, it's going to show off some of the very interesting features. We've done the blue and the amber one in detail before. I thought you would like to just see them together. So here we look at the white swirly one. Impressed with the colors. Fit and finish is always good, as we've seen before. We'll explore the cap from the inside. And it is fairly transparent. Again, hopefully that strobe LED light doesn't bother you. And if we look at the barrel, we'll also see how the light shines through. Very nice. We'll bring the purple one in. And I have to admit, every time I get one of these, I'm just impressed with the resins. Very good quality, very well made. Very artistic in the way the colors work together. A little bit of pearlescence in here. Not a lot, just a little bit. And we'll take a look at how the transparency, not as transparent as the white one, but still lets a fair amount of light through as we illuminate the Kaigelu. So for the rest of the video, we're just going to focus on the two new Kaigelus that I received from AliExpress. This white swirly one is as I expected, but the purple one is not. You know, most of the time the cap takes about 2 turns to get off, but this one, it's a little bit tough there to get started, but it comes off in a little bit over a quarter turn. Kind of reminds me of my vintage pens where there's a lot of, you know, worn threads or whatever between the cap and the barrel, and so therefore there's only got a few threads that engaged. So my first thought comes about, my engineering brain kicks in, are the threads on the barrel off or the threads on the cap off? So the best way to test that is to use a standard. We're using going to do the white one because that one works the same way, takes 2 turns to get off. So we'll take the barrel from the purple one, we'll put on the white cap, and it doesn't even thread. So the white cap, which I say is done to Kaigelu standards, doesn't thread on to the purple barrel. So one might say the purple barrel threading is definitely off. So now we're going to take the white barrel and the purple cap, and we'll see that that does the same type of quarter turn. So I would say that the cap is definitely not threaded correctly, and the barrel is certainly not threaded correctly. So I can't imagine how that CRC lathe or the computer-controlled machine that does the threads in this turned acrylic resin screwed up so much on both the cap and the barrel. Sometimes it happens. Considering I have close to 10 Kaigelu 316s, and this is the only one that has ever had any type of issue like this, I think that's a win-win in my view of the world. So we're going to look for a purple ink for this because we want to test out that extra fine nib and show you how it writes. And I still do like the way the pen looks, and I can live with it with a quarter turn for the cap. Thought it'd be interesting how they've changed how they plate the nibs between the extra fine on the left here and the medium on the right. The medium is not done very well, doesn't stay within the lines, where the extra fine one is done very nicely. But here the swirls are the silver, and the edge here is gold, and all around the Kaigelu is gold, where they tried to do a little bit more variation on the medium. Maybe they've realized there was an issues with it, changed the way that they put down the gold, and I like the new way it looks on the extra fine. So now we've come to the writing part, and I'm not going to go into any details on the pen. I'll give you links to my other reviews, which go into quite a lot of depth and take pens apart and give you measurements, weights, and everything else. But this is the same. The only thing that's different is the wonky threads and the extra fine nib. Let's see how it lays down that Purple Heart ink. So this is the ink I chose to put into the Purple 316. Yes, we have recently celebrated Memorial Day, and I thought this was an appropriate ink to use. No recollection of where I bought it from, or whether it's still available or not. It is definitely a deep, on the red side of purple. Very interesting chromatography. It's red and blue, various shades of both. And I thought that it might have some water resistance, so I let it dry for a day and I did the chromatography again. And the red seems to have some staying power. And then we go to pink, light blue, dark blue, and then very intense blue. Very interesting chromatography, very interesting dark purple ink for those that are interested in that color. I probably have to start saying this, but this is a wow extra fine nib. There's a little bit of bounce to it, something that I didn't really notice in the other Kaigelu nibs. And it opens up. You can even railroad it. And maybe I sprung it. Or just... I really just pulled all the ink out of the feed. So, yes, it can do this, but don't do this. I'm impressed with this extra fine nib. I could live with it. And this Purple Heart ink certainly lays down a nice dark color, which is quite interesting. I just called it version 2 to distinguish it from the previous versions of the 316. Hopefully you've enjoyed this quick look at 2 new colors and a model pen that I'm extremely pleased with. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you're enjoying your pens, enjoying putting ink on paper. Hey, enjoying every day, regardless of what you do. Hope this video finds you safe, healthy, and happy. We've reached the end. And we're going to say bye. And yes, my writing changes with each pen and nib. One of the fun things of fountain pens.